Hey you guys, welcome to Bones Collector, and today this video is going to be about the top 10 most relevant themed games. Now I gave this subject quite a bit of thought and I enjoyed making this list because there are some games out there that are amazing that have themes that really are applicable to our lifestyle and our culture. So I wanted to make this list and keeping those subjects in mind for what's going on in the world today and what's going on in our history, what went on in our history. So those are the ideas that I used to formulate this list. And again, I want to reiterate that we're in a lockdown right now due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and that's kind of interesting. Everybody's at home playing board games, and I've been playing a lot of board games and enjoying my hobby more than I normally do. So I really wanted to make this list. We've been playing a lot of board games, so it's been the forefront of my mind. I've enjoyed board gaming, and I have a library of 200 games here at my house, and I'm playing new games all the time, and sometimes they make a library, sometimes they don't, and I only want to tell you about the ones that I really love. So here's my top 10 most relevant themed games from the Bones Collector. And let's start with number 10. That is Trekking the National Parks. Now, Trekking the National Parks is a game by Charlie Bink, and I have a picture of me with Charlie Bink right there. There it is, right there. We were at a con playing games. Laura and I played it, and we really enjoyed it. And the game is about exactly that, national parks. Charlie Bink, the designer, his parents would take him around to different national parks when he was a kid, and he developed a love for national parks. And this is kind of a tribute to the love of national parks that Charlie has and the love for his parents, I would also assume, so because they're the ones that took him there. So a very cool game. It's a set collection game and point-to-point movement using a hand of cards. You use the cards to move, and then you're going to be collecting these little round discs that are different colors. Once you have so many of a certain color, you can purchase a contract that gets you points to win the game. So a lot of fun, a great themed game. Laura and I really enjoy playing this game. It's a family weight game, and when you play Trekking the National Parks, you have a lot of fun, and that's the point. So that's number 10. All right. Number 9 on this list, Lisboa by Vida Lacerda. This is probably the antithesis of Trekking the National Parks when it comes to complexity, because this game's hard. There's a lot to it. I shouldn't say it's hard, but there's a lot to it, a lot going on. It's, in my opinion, Vida Lacerda's best game design. And I love when board game designers, and Vida Lacerda is one of them, that puts the theme in their game. Lisboa was destroyed by an earthquake, fires, and a tsunami within the course of about 3 or 4 days. They had to completely rebuild the city, and it took obviously a great team effort from the government and the people of Lisboa to make that happen. He built the theme into this game. Some of the things that went on in Lisboa to rebuild it was they used the rubble from the buildings that had collapsed to build the foundations of the new buildings that they constructed. So that is so cool, and the Vida Lacerda included that in the game mechanics. It's so cool. It has a section of the board where you are collecting rubble, and that's very important to the actual events that took place during that time. So that's very cool, and I love this game. It's a wonderful game. The production's off the charts. Eagle Griffin Games does an amazing job for Vida Lacerda. So the game is amazing. It's visually evocative. It's visually beautiful to look at. When it's on the table, everyone says, wow, what game is that? And that is Lisboa, my friends. That's number 9. Number 8 is Habitats. Habitats is a tile-laying game, and the designer is Corna van Moorsel. And okay, we bought this at Dice Tower Convention a couple of years ago, and we fell in love with it immediately. It's about building the proper habitats for animals. You have certain animals like rhinoceroses, giraffes, squirrels, hippopotamuses. I'm looking at the back of the box here. Lizards, and you have to build their habitat that they will thrive in. And it's a tile laying game. You must do that with tiles, and it has a neat action selection mechanism in it that's pretty cool. So that's a lot of fun, and let's face it, we want to take care of our wildlife and our animals, and so that's why it made this list, and we enjoy playing the game. It's a lot of fun. Habitats. Okay, next on my list is a game called Turn and Taxis. Now, Turn and Taxis came out in 2000. It's an older game. Yeah, it came out in 2006. When you look at that title, you think, when I first saw it, I was like, I don't want to play a game about taxi cabs. And that's what I thought it was about. You know, it says taxis on it. But Turn and Taxis is two names of German families, and they were the families that started the modern day post office, and they did it in Germany in the 1400s. So they started the post office, which we in turn as a country adopted, and I think a lot of people don't know that about this game. And let's see, Spiel des Jahres 2006. I think it won the Spiel des Jahres in 2006. That says a lot about it, and I have a lot of fun playing this game. Lori and I really enjoy it. Complexity wise, it's probably a medium weight game, very important for the theme and very fun. It's a card playing game where you're going to travel around Germany from city to city, making mail routes with your cards and scoring bonus points, and it's just a gas. So I really love Turn and Taxis. It's never leaving my library. I enjoy it very much. Okay, let's see. After Turn and Taxis, that was number 7. Number 6 is Railroad Revolution. Railroad Revolution, designed by Marco Canetta and Stefania Niccolini. And this is exactly what it's about, is the railroad revolution in the United States and building that railroad from the East Coast to the West Coast. This game is about route building. You make choices as to where you want those routes to go, what cities you want to go to, and each city has different bonuses once you reach that city that you want to achieve and help you expand your railroad across to the West Coast. You get bonus points for that. There's also a telegraph system in here that you're going to build and receive bonuses for that. So Railroad Revolution, very important, of course, for the industrialization of the United States. That railroad is very important, building that from the East Coast to the West Coast for transportation and movement of goods. So a very, very cool game. It's by What's Your Game is the publisher, and this design team also did a game called Zhanguo, also published by What's Your Game, which is a very good game also. But yeah, this one, Railroad Revolution, very important theme game. So that's pretty cool. Okay, now we're on to number 5. And I put this game in here for a couple of reasons. Hotshots. It's about exactly that. Fighting forest fires. These are firefighters. I want to pay tribute with this game to the first responders all over our country who are not only responding to this COVID-19 pandemic, but also to wildfires this past year that they had to deal with. And they're always putting their life on the line for all of us taxpayers, and that's a tough job, folks. The police, the firefighters, doctors and nurses who are fighting the pandemic right now, people who work in grocery stores, people who work at Amazon. I mean, everybody that has to go to work are putting their lives on the line, and this is a tribute to all of them. But hey, our firefighters are brave, and this is a cool game about that, putting out wildfires, and it's a very difficult cooperative game. It's a push your luck mechanism where you're going to roll dice, and Lori and I have maybe beat this game 1 time out of 10. It's hard to win. Very fun to play though. You have to deal with the wind just like you would with real fires. We have cards that you turn over and it tells you which way the wind's blowing, and you have to continue the fire going in that direction, whatever way the wind's blowing. So it can be so tricky and so difficult to win, and sometimes when you're rolling those dice, you don't want to roll them again because you may bust, but you have to because you're in a situation where you have to take a big chance, a lot like real life. So yeah, it's a push your luck, and it's a lot of fun. Hotshots. Okay, what's next after Hotshots? We are on number 4. Number 4 is, I don't own this. I own the game for number 4. It's Kanban EV by Vita Lacerda. This is my version of Kanban. It's about gas cars, but Kanban EV hasn't even been delivered yet. It was a Kickstarter a few months back, and it's completed its Kickstarter run, did very well by Eagle Griffin Games. It's going to be, Kanban EV for electric vehicles. It's this exact game, only about electric cars, which is so cool because electric cars are appearing everywhere on the streets here in the United States. Everybody's getting into them. They're fast, efficient, comfortable, quiet, and amazing actually. And they're better for the planet, and that's important. In Kanban, you're running an auto factory, and you have Sandra, the factory boss, that's going to reward you or penalize you depending on how you do as a foreman in the factory. You gather parts, build cars, roll them off the assembly line, and get lots of points, as many points as you can, because the most points wins this game. And I love the Auto Factory theme. I love the fact that he changed it from from gas vehicles to electric vehicles, and he did an amazing job with it, I'm sure. I haven't played Kanban EV, but they said very few rule changes from Kanban, so this is the one I have, this is the one I like playing, and that's Kanban. But Kanban EV, that's my number 4 game in relevant themes. Baby, it's a good one. Now, number 3. Well, I did a little cheat, a little bit. Number 3 is going to be 2 games that have kind of the same theme. Well, not kind of, they do have the same theme. And one is Manhattan Project Energy Empire. See if I can hold these up together. That's Manhattan Project Energy Empire. The other is CO2 Second Chance. Now, CO2 Second Chance, I'll talk about it first because it's Vito Lacerda again. He's the king of relevant themed games in this list. He's had Lisboa, and he's had Kanban, and he's had CO2 Second Chance. CO2 Second Chance, I love to play that game, and I think because of what you're doing, these games are about curbing climate change and pollution, and that's very important, and it is a team effort from all of us, isn't it? I mean, we all have to do our part to try to make changes that are going to reflect themselves, that are going to change or really protect the future of our children and our grandchildren. If that's not important to us, then we have a problem. So we need to think about those things, and these games help you do that. That's CO2 Second Chance. Very complex game. This is a tough one, folks. If you like to really take your brain out for a workout on a marathon, this game is the one that'll do it. You have to work hard to beat this game. Lori and I have beaten this game, but it took everything we had, and we're pretty good at cooperative games. And the second game I want to talk about is Manhattan Project Energy Empire. Now, there was a game called Manhattan Project, and I don't even know what that game was about, but I think people get confused. This game, Manhattan Project Energy Empire, completely different game, and it's by Luke Laurie, and he did a nice job designing this game. Again, it is about climate change and curbing our impact, polluting impact on the planet. The thing I like about this game, and it is in my top 10 Euro dice games, I really enjoy this because it's got some beautiful dice in it, and who doesn't love to roll dice? It has a lot of dice in it. 24 energy dice. So that's pretty cool, and it's a fun game. Even though they're both got the same theme, I just can't get rid of either one of them. They're both fun and amazing to play. Manhattan Project Energy Empire, CO2 Second Chance. I love them both, and so will you if you give them a try. And not to mention, what an important subject for all of us. Okay, now the number 2 game on the relevant theme list is you knew it was going to show up, Pandemic. Now, Pandemic, let me say right off the top of my head, this is my favorite game of all time because it does so much so easily. Everybody can play this game. It's a game that's cooperative, so if you have a new player, they're not as intimidated by playing a game like this. You're there helping them. You're there helping them make their decisions, showing them how to play the game. And that's priceless when you're playing a game with somebody who doesn't play board games. So that is one of the things I love about this game. The game design itself by Matt Laycock is flawless. And he also did another game that we have, 2 games that I have. One is Forbidden Desert, which is another amazing cooperative game. And I have Roll Through the Ages, which is another Matt Laycock game, which is a lot of fun and rolling right. But Pandemic, that's what we want to talk about, because this is relevant today, isn't it? With COVID-19, pandemic, everybody's life has changed, our society has changed, and it's changed some that's going to be permanent, some that's just temporary, and everybody's under a lot of stress right now. There's a lot of people that are not working, all caused by a virus. And that's what you're going to be doing when you play Pandemic. Stopping the spread of virus throughout the world. You have a world map, or you have a deck of cards that are going to tell you how to populate the cities with disease, and each player has a special power, so it has asymmetrical player powers, which is pretty cool. I don't know. I don't know if I can say anything about Pandemic that hasn't been said before. This version, get it. I'm not a big fan of Pandemic Legacy. I made a video about it if you want to check out that video. Pandemic Legacy was a great game, but I'm just not one of those guys that's going to sing its praises because it goes right in the landfill when you're done with it, and that's a terrible thing to happen to me. That was a bad direction for the board game industry. I don't want to get on a soapbox here, but if you're going to buy a version of Pandemic, make it this one. You can play it 10,000 times and still love it. And I have played it a lot, and I've played it a lot. And whenever I have new people in my house that don't board game, this is the first one I drag out. And almost everybody that I play this game with goes out and buys a copy because they had such a good time playing it. And it makes you feel as though you're playing a big-time Euro game, because there's some tough decisions to make in here. You really have to think to win. It has a mechanism in it where you can make the game more difficult by adding extra epidemic cards into the deck, so you can scale that according to your ability as a player. And that's pretty cool. But man, I tell you what, Pandemic is a great game. It's a relevant theme for today with the COVID-19. It's irrelevant anyways. I really enjoy it. And again, I want to take my hat off to the doctors and nurses and all the people working in hospitals that are overwrought, overworked, underappreciated right now. I hope this thing opens up soon, that we can find a vaccine for this virus that's keeping us all under lockdown. Pandemic is a great game for today. It's a great game always. If you don't have a copy of this in your board game library, what are you doing? I mean, this is a great game. All right, that's number 2, Pandemic. My number 1 themed game. Have you been waiting? I've been waiting to talk about it because I just made a video about it. And my number 1 relevant themed game is Animo, the Living Deck Bible verse game. And I've got everything Animo makes. I mean, I've got it all. I've got the starter decks, kit. It's got the original deck of cards, the starter deck box. It has the game instructions. It has 2 decks of cards in it, player tokens, score cards, and a couple of holographic cards that come in the box. And then also I have this box, which has everything. I mean, I've got the whole Animo set. Maybe you can see in there. You got tokens, and I got a ton of cards in here. I also have a neoprene mat that I ordered with it from the designers Josh. But they did a wonderful job with this game, and the reason why I picked this game for number 1 of my relevant themed games is, of course, it's got every card in it has Bible scripture. Hey everybody, hey, here's what happened. While we were filming this video, when we got to number 1, we got a phone call, and my wife took the phone call and went into the other room, but we could still hear her on the video talking. So we had to scrap our number 1 part of our video. But hey, yeah, things happen, and you know, we're not the most technical savvy people, but it's a terrific game, and of course a theme for, in my opinion, one man's humble opinion, is the best themed game ever made because it's full of Bible scripture. And for me, that's very important. If it's not for you, that's all right. You know, that's nothing wrong with that. I love all of you, you know, whether you would love this game or not. Lori and I love to play this game. And it's kind of in the Pokemon vein of things, where you're powering up your characters and defeating Cine cards and things like that. So it's just a lot of fun to play, and it's a great game, especially for children, and that's the target audience, is young people, children. To grow our Christian faith, we have to begin at the beginning, and that's with the kids. So yeah, this is a tremendous game. Oh, I've been showing this the whole time. There you go. It's like that. This is Animo, and Animo, Living Deck Bible verse game. That's my number 1 theme game ever, and I've loved making this video for all of you. And all the games on this list I adore, and I like that when some board game designers think about the theme that they want to put in their games. I would much rather have a game that had some kind of relevant theme than a fantasy theme. Those games kind of get boring after a while. The games on this list don't bore me. They're very interesting. I learn something every time I play them, something new, and I enjoy that. And I enjoy when board game designers do that. So hey, that's my list of top 10 most relevant themed games. I love every one of you. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and have a great day during this COVID thing. I hope it's coming to an end, but you never know. Everybody's playing a lot of board games now. I know I have been, but hey, take care of yourself. You know, do all the things they ask you to do, and we're going to get through this. Let's just be patient with each other, I guess, is the hardest thing for some folks to do. But just be patient with the, you know, not only the people, your neighbors, the people you meet out in public, but the government, and be patient with everyone. So, and take care of yourselves, and make sure to keep on gaming, because it's the best hobby on the planet. I love every one of you. Bye-bye.